We definitely should have chose a shady place. There was an overcast before.
Next time.
Next time. So for those that don't know what we're doing here, we are trying to democratize the Israeli tech ecosystem by decentralizing and bringing Israeli tech to the people. Now, a lot of people may not know what deep tech is, which we're going to talk about a little bit here. And the reason is because I feel that a lot of technology is too distant. Now, I'm an immigrant, for those that don't know, and I came here, let's say, too late to serve. And so a lot of things culturally, technological-wise, I feel isn't approachable. So what we're trying to do here is we're in beautiful Sarona and try to make the tech ecosystem more democratic and reach the regular people. And we're hoping to do a series so we can start to get more and more people over time. Woo! All right, yeah. So I'm here with Alon. Alon, what's cooking?
Good. All good. Nice to be here. Can you hear me?
I'm next to you, so
okay.
I hear you.
Sorry.
Louder?
Louder.
Okay, louder. All right. Woo.
So good to be here.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, for sure. My name is Alon Leibovich. I run Ignite DeepTech. Whoop whoop, indeed. Ignite DeepTech is kind of the reincarnation of Intel Ignite. You know, we spun the Ignite program out of Intel, and we kicked off our new basically venture in 2025. First cohort in the new version is already live and running for Ignite DeepTech. So super happy about that, and good to be here, like in this beautiful day. It is sunny in Tel Aviv, but I think that we were handed, like a pretty good hand.
Okay,
look at the weather tomorrow and the day after.
You're not actually Jewish if you're not complaining enough, but that's fine. So let's get into it. What is deep tech? Because I speak to people and people give different definitions or explanations.
Yes, that's a great question, and maybe I'll try to address it from our perspective. Okay, so if you think about building a startup, you the first thing that you go through is pain, right? Like you need to have a specific need, that you've identified, and that's great, and then you start to think about the solution. So I think that deep tech basically talks about the solution side of the problem. And if I'm looking at deep tech ventures, I would be looking to find startups that bring significant technological and or scientific chops to the way that they're solving the problem. Meaning, if I'm an early stage investor, I try to look at, so what's the moat for this business, right? Going forward, what's gonna keep competition away, and what's the best thing what's the thing that I know how to do best that most people cannot imitate?
What does that do? Well, as opposed to other high tech.
Yes. So if you think about building a company long term, the thing about deep tech, it's that the technological moat, the moat of the company needs to be anchored in technology, meaning it's going to take a while for somebody else to be building the same technological stack that you are, or have the same scientific breakthrough that you have brought to the table. As opposed to if you're building, let's say, in agentic AI right now, or if you're building a media company or a marketing tech startup, it's not always apparent your moat is driven by the technology or by science, rather network effects or distribution or brand. So any of these could be like legitimate moats for businesses, but we're looking, or what we consider to be deep tech, is where the driving moat for the business is either technology or science. So what does that mean for the ventures that we usually see? It usually means that the founders that we look at are deeply technical, like years and years of technical expertise in specific places, specific domains, sometimes from the army, sometimes from...
Can you just give some examples? Because I want to make this a little more tangible, because what I'm hearing so far is deep tech is like regular tech, but maybe it's a little more scientific and probably has some sort of breakthrough that if you succeed, you kind of have no competition.
Yes.
That's kind of how I'm seeing it, right?
Yes.
So maybe you can give some examples. So like you would find...
Yeah, so if you want to think deep tech, or like we'll maybe get to it later, but things doubling down. So let's think about who's the richest person alive right now,
Me,
aside from me. Number 2,
Elon Musk.
correct. So what is Elon building?
Tesla, AI, robotics, rockets that can go and come back. That can go a dart and an angle, which is now going 7 miles a day, which is huge for anyone that's following it.
Yes. So
Neuralink.
So Elon is building technology, okay, or building companies, that have a significant long-term viable technological and or scientific breakthrough. Okay,
Right.
That's the driver.
He has no competition on any of his fronts.
He has no competition on any of the fronts. That has to do with the level of execution. But think about like how much time these companies incubated before they became real.
Right.
Now, how much time did it take for Tesla to launch the first car? How much time it took for SpaceX to launch the first rocket? Sorry.
Now you know where we are.
Yes, exactly. Freudian slip. And how much time? Does it take to build like XAI? Okay, like
Right.
even the software business that he's backing is super deep and super technical. So these are great examples. They usually, not always, incorporate a hardware component, okay? Like real life, physical stuff that you can touch and feel. That's harder to do.
Are Israelis good at hardware?
Yeah, that's a great question. Think about the legacy of Israel. Like where have, if you think about what is Israel known for in the world?
Jaffa oranges.
Jaffa oranges, yes. It's just like the answer of you being the richest person alive, I think.
I don't know why people tune in.
But I think about kind of the Israeli invention that is all around like dinner tables around the world. What is that?
Would you say was the invention?
The Israeli invention.
For the
there you
tomatoes.
go. I got one from the audience. Cherry tomato. Yes, cherry tomatoes. And Dov Moran and what he came up with?
Tell us.
The flash drive.
Right.
Okay, that's also a piece of hardware.
So that's deep tech.
That's deep tech.
Now today, that same technology would not be considered deep tech.
So
it's like
the
equivalent, right?
The equivalent, of like finding a solution for memory, for storage, is going to be deep tech. It's deep tech in its nature. So I feel, and if you think about, so aside from that, by the way, drip irrigation. Israel is like one of the world's leaders in drip irrigation, at Tafim and these guys. Think about the original tech ecosystem in Israel was developed, unsurprisingly, by the defense companies. Okay, so we started out being defense. Defense is definitely deep tech. Okay, like everything that has to do with like selling into a government, and not only selling into a government, but for defense manufacturing purposes. That's tough as nails to be building that. Okay, it all involves hardware. It all involves low levels.
To get some definition straight.
Yes.
If there's hardware involved, it's not deep tech.
Not accurate.
I really
yes,
want. I feel like
yes,
I'm gonna. You're down here.
Yeah.
And then I have some more questions, but let's get specific. So not necessarily.
Yes, but more often than not, a hardware component is involved. Okay. If not, then show me a scientific breakthrough. So we have a company right now, basically commercializing technology or scientific breakthroughs rather than technology. Tel Aviv University, taking decades long of science, patents, that are in gene sequencing, and basically the translation is, in the world of tech, data engineering, data science, and LLMs, But the model that is underpinning these LLMs is unique in the form that it was researched for a decade, So it's not hardware, but this is one hell of a moat,
So it's
somebody else.
Yes, that's what it is,
it's
right?
about, yes.
So let me ask you. So you said the hard drive, the USB drive, right? The jump, right? That Israelis invented at the time. That was deep tech. If someone were to come up with a different technology that does the same thing for jump drives, right? Mm-hmm. Is that still considered deep tech, or is deep tech also kind of like it's whatever's the most progressive, cutting edge at that time? Like, is there a time component of
Yeah.
what DeepTech is.
So another
So what's
component.
DeepTech today in
Yes.
10 years won't be DeepTech.
So another component. Yeah, first of all, for sure. Okay, I mean, like the
Got
flash drive looks right now as, you know, like it's an old piece of hardware, right? Like you have
Right.
many cloud and I mean many different new solutions. Okay, that surpassed it. But cloud itself is deep tech. Okay, like it's very hard to build a data center. It's very hard to distribute the workload over the GPUs, and it's very hard to bring this thing to market. So again, it's a technological breakthrough that was commercialized. Usually, it's more capital intensive. Usually, okay, and usually it takes a while until you get out of your research and development stage and until you take it to market. Okay, usually development time takes, you know, more than 12 months. One of my founders, I remember a sentence that he said, I was urging them from a software perspective because they are building software, but it's a cryptocurrency wallet, okay? So he was saying, I was urging them to go to market earlier, okay, or quicker. And listen, think about it as a bridge, okay? I am building a bridge. Would you release a bridge to market when it's still not yet completed?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's life and death.
Yeah, that's life and death, but that gives you the credibility of the product and the usability of the product. You cannot use half of a bridge. So you need to finish a full cycle for 12 to 18 months of development, okay? That's after it's been commercialized, in order for it to go to market, right? Usually you have, you know, you look at what universities call TRL, technology readiness level. So technology readiness level is like about like how deep is does the science, it starts as a science project, how deep does that go? I mean, were you able to prove your experiment in your first iteration, in your second iteration? Is it scalable? Is it something that's gonna break when many users are gonna touch that? So there is an incubation time, I think, okay, of let's say around 3-something years of research before you can take this thing and actually commercialize it, or rather start the usual R&D process of a startup, okay? So that takes a very long time to market, surprisingly though. So if you think about the graph of progress of revenues and company progress for deep tech companies, for a SaaS company, it would look like this, like exponential, okay? Like, you know, you hit what you wanted to hit and then boom, you go. For a deep tech company, revenue graph, it would be looking at like this, somewhere, you know, like very flat, okay? Usually you take on projects, you take on NREs, okay, like basically joint co-marketing or co-sponsorship with a strategic partner that is willing to test your technology and bring it to market initially. And then if that order goes, okay, like goes well, boom, okay? So that's how the graph, okay, of a deep tech startup looks like, or revenue graph, right? Like flat, 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 and then boom, exploding. So a very deep, a very different type of company, okay, for company building when you think about that.
So I'm trying to think, let's say I have an idea for a deep tech solution, and I know it's going to be 6-7 years till I see revenue, and I'm probably going to need hundreds of $1 million in funding, right?
Right and wrong. So
Okay.
let's bust some other myths here.
Woo! Mythbusters.
Mythbusters.
IsraelTech edition.
IsraelTech edition, definitely. So Ignite Deep.
Even better.
Even better.
That's going to be your new series. Ignite Deep Tech Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. So yes, it does entail more resources to be invested in the, I would say, in the research stage. Okay, but I think there's a broad ecosystem here of people don't know them very well. TTOs, tech transfer offices, they exist in the universities. You have bundled or bottled up knowledge, okay, of patents on shelves of universities that are dying to be commercialized, that have already been invested in terms of resources and research, okay, that are waiting for an amazing entrepreneurs to come
give an
pick them
example?
up. It's matrix multiply. There's this guy in computer science a faculty, I won't mention the name, who came up with a different way for multiplying math matrices that can seriously influence the way GPU's workloads are being served right now. Okay, that's something that's an amazing it's not even seed, it's a stem, okay, of or like a bud of an idea, okay, that needs to be baked and developed, okay, in order for it to be able to be taken to the level of which it can become a startup, okay? So, but we were talking about how capital intensive it is. So I think at the onset, at the earlier stages, there are wonderful bodies that are happy to finance that research, okay? Because at the end of the day, when you just get started, it's a research project. So you have authority, okay? You have the government of economy, the Ministry of Economy. You have corporates that are interested, okay, in research being done, because that's what's going to be the next growth revenue generation, revenue engine for them. So there would be many different, I would say, sponsors at the earlier stages that are not necessarily venture capitalists, okay, which is fine because that doesn't match that specific stage of the company. When you take venture capital on, you want to be certain that you're not longer than, let's say, 12 to 18 months from your ability to release the first prototype, okay? And you want to be able to prove that the first prototype, were it done properly, can be then replicated at scale, okay?
Overly optimistic. All right.
Yes. Yes. Yoel, you want to repeat the question? Yoel, you want to repeat the question
think,
from the audience?
You want to give her the mic? Oh, no, then she, yeah. There we go.
Why not?
Why
like
not?
from the horse's mouth.
There you
That's
go. Hear
the
from
best
her.
one. Yeah.
Just the mouth.
I got myself in trouble here, I see.
But I'm sorry, but your outlook on
Yes.
all the funding available to super early stage, what you said is a STEM idea, it's just an idea, a research project. I think it's overly optimistic. I think there are many barriers to entry, and if you didn't just, get out of one at a time, or I don't know the right people, you're not getting that funding, and those ideas are not being developed.
Can you repeat her question just so it's picked up on the live?
What's your name? Sorry.
Sarah, hi.
Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah asked us a good question, I think. Sarah said that if you're not kind of out of the right places, okay, kind of in Israeli society, it might not be as available to said funding for STEM ideas, research, very early nascent ideas. So that's a very good point.
By the way, I know I'm like beating a dead horse here since we're on the theme of horses. Yeah, I agree in some extent. I can't speak specifically, but there is a sense like a bubble, which is what I'm trying to do here, is why we're coming to the field.
Burst
So,
that bubble and a myth.
Yeah. All right. So why don't you, maybe you can address how we can pop this bubble?
Yeah, sure. So I'll answer in first, maybe my background. I did not go to 8200. I am a mechanics officer, קצין חימוש. So the is network. I know one guy.
More than hell yeah, I knew no one. I don't even live in
I know one guy. Like that's what I like. That's seriously my tech network coming in on the way in. So I agree, it's not as easy. But I think if I'm looking at tech ecosystem, now versus when I started there, let's say 10, 12 years ago, it's much more accessible, democratized, and open than it used to be. How? By the fact that you have more technological companies here, more startups. Yes, it's still very much centered, but you do definitely have these bodies, government entities, that in fact, because backing Ignite, it's in their agenda to increase the footprint of other populations into tech. That's literally one of the goals for diversification. And the second thing that it now exists is a much more robust support ecosystem for you to be leveled up, I would say, okay? Because it's not just about the network that you have, it's about whether you know how to sing the right tune, okay? And the right tune can be taught. you can teach people, okay, how venture looks like, or what they're supposed to be looking like, what they're supposed to be heard like. No, if you're gonna come in, sell me EBITDA, okay, on an early stage company and try to say that we're gonna reach to profitability, you're not gonna find your way into the VC ecosystem because that's not just how it works, okay? VC plays differently. So if you wanna play the game, you need to know the rules of the game. And I think aside from network, the support ecosystem, we have a program called DeepTech Future Leaders that we're a part of at Ignite. It's meant for, we just kicked off cohort number 2. We wrapped up cohort number 1 like a month ago. And it's meant for individuals. Individuals don't necessarily have to have a background in tech, but are entrepreneurial. They know they want to start ventures. And they know they want to play the VC game, which is not for everybody. Not for everybody. But they say, I want to go on the VC train, okay? And I'm interested in building deep technology. That's what I need. That's basically what I need. Talented people. Yeah, she wants to, there's a...
Yeah,
Please,
sure.
Go ahead.
You should have brought your own chair.
No, last one, and then I'm
No,
gonna
I'm not complaining. I'm joking.
No worries.
Sorry, it's just I work with minority founders, okay?
Yes.
Female founders,
Yes.
Arab founders,
Yes.
founders in the periphery, we're talking Haifa, Jerusalem, and they aren't aware. You said you have the second cohort for this program. That's great, but they don't know it exists.
Correct.
Your network on LinkedIn knows it exists. They're spreading it as much as they can. So many of these founders don't even know these assets exist. I work with an incubator in East Jerusalem, and you know what? The head goes and he like hunts. He really stalks
Yes,
potential
yeah.
markets.
Mm-hmm.
So, guy with a dream, a girl with a dream, someone in the periphery with a dream.
Yeah.
How do they find these opportunities? And now be quiet, Alon.
No, that's great. So I agree that there is, listen, the people who were, the Israeli population who work in tech, it's 10%. That's the number. I mean, and it needs to be a national goal to increase that number.
To what?
I think that the national goal or GDP, don't catch me by the numbers here, is to get to like 15%. Okay.
By when?
It's so effective.
We won't go into government policy right now. I'm talking about at least my partners in the Israeli Innovation Authority. They are very well aware that it's hard to break it out of Sarona, okay? And the scooter triangle here, right? It's not easy. But, for example, a couple of years back, we did Haredi, ultra-Orthodox Ignite bootcamp.
For men.
No? No. Why? Did I say men? I didn't say men. We actually had a female entrepreneur, okay, in one of these companies. 2 years ago, after October 7th, we did an agro-climate focused boot camp at Kibbutz Cholit in the Gaza envelope. And the prerequisite for joining the program was, tell me, startup, how are you going to be POCing your technology at Kibbutz Cholit? Okay? So, and the next program that we're going to be doing is for Miluimnikim post-October 7th. So I can't tell you that like it's, this is like one person trying to, or it's it seems like it's one person trying to change, but I can tell you that I know that the policy, at least for my partners, is definitely to increase the circle of influence, okay, that technology has and get it to minority, to other, not only minority, but underrepresented groups, okay?
Like Olim. But also, the bigger the tech ecosystem is, even if it unfortunately may be a little bit too much of a bubble, the more touch points it is, the more it's approachable to more people. If the tech ecosystem was very small, it's been much harder to break into, and there are very fewer people that may be able to help you break into that ecosystem. So even though our goal, or we would all like to see almost everyone, probably easier exposure and reach to the tech ecosystem, the more people that are involved in this bubble and the bigger it gets, the easier it is for other people that may not be exposed or have that connections to get into it. I did a podcast, I did an interview with Migo. They helped Haredim get into tech about a year ago. So you can find it in our channel. Interesting to see how Haredim are actually making changes getting into tech. And it's actually very different from what other people are doing. They're doing some of what we're doing, is that we're going, Crombie, you know Crombie? Yeah, he'd go into creative communities and set up tables. Yeah, he was doing that crafting in the army. don't know where to go. How do you go draft? If people want to draft,
So,
the many don't want to draft, they don't even know how to draft.
Yeah.
So you got to go reach the people. That's what we're doing here.
I kind of just maybe to kind of it's not about my philosophy there. It's not about lowering the barrier to entry. Okay, it's not about okay, you come from an underrepresented minority group, we'll cut you some slack. That's not the point. The point is supposed to be, we will find you and we will help you level up. We will train you, we will give you the tools, we will teach you the lingo, okay? You need to look, act, behave, quack like a duck, or act like a duck, talk like a duck in order to be a duck. That's just a part of it. And awareness building is hard, and cultural and societal changes take time. But if you ask me, okay, I think that the opportunity of a decade, okay, like DeepTech embodies the opportunity of a decade. I feel that many people can connect to DeepTech more so than to cybersecurity, for instance. Not a ding on cybersecurity, but it is definitely coming out of specific units in the army, specific skill sets, etc. But what is DeepTech? Okay, so think about a manufacturing plant. Think about a manufacturing facility, right? Think about supply chain. Think about the people, some potential brilliant minds who are now like hauling something back and forth or like standing next to a CNC machine. And they're young and they work out of the like something out of societal like periphery. But how does one come to an idea? You feel pain. You feel a pain. So if I'm working in a manufacturing facility and I now feel a pain, okay, the potential for creating an actually disruptive company around the pain that you're experiencing in kind of legacy worlds, that's huge potential. And forget about like specifically 8200, because you were trained from the age of 18 into like something to solving very specific problems. That's what I'm saying when I think that kind of it's also going to help underrepresented minorities kind of weave their way into technology and find their way into technology. And it's also a great business opportunity.
All right, back to DeepTech. So we're talking about how do you think Israel's doing when it comes to DeepTech in general? Would you say it's ranking well? Let's talk about where we are now, and then let's talk about kind of the challenges and opportunities.
Yeah, so the Israeli ecosystem is very, what's working here phenomenally is obviously security. And I think that's going to keep on working really well. And I think we need to double down on it.
When you say security, you mean specifically cyber or deep?
Cybersecurity, okay? I think that's working really well. And I think that the point of, it being the drive, okay, of everything that's going on here is phenomenal and important. But I think that like any company, when you build a company, okay, you're trying to not put all of your eggs in the same basket. So in terms of opportunity, but also in terms of risk, okay, so I think that for us at Ignite, for this cohort, okay, when we see 250 companies top of the funnel, okay, before we accept 10. We saw almost 45% of deal flow, okay? Companies that wanted to get into Ignite were security companies. And to me, that's worrying.
Right.
Because I want to see a more diversified base, okay, of applicants in terms of the different technologies, not just...
Why aren't there?
Why aren't there? Because I think that security is doing so well, okay, that it's easy to jump on success train.
True.
Okay.
So where's our breakthrough coming into expanding in defense tech?
So I think
DeepTech.
Yeah, DeepTech, but defense tech is also like a good maybe topic to take, because think about the war going on. I mean, like on the flip side, okay, on the other side of it, like hopefully that everybody will get home safe as soon as possible.
Amen.
But if you think about like what the war is doing to Israel in terms of defense innovation, it's crazy, okay? Usually when a startup gets off the ground, they tell them, oh, you brought a couple of first customers from, your friends here in the local ecosystem. that's great, they don't count.
Right.
This is not the case in defense.
Oh, it's a good point because it's actually used in the battlefield.
This is
as good as it gets.
as good as it gets. This is the first time that you're bringing a local market, Israel, okay, to the playing field, because battle tested is what counts in defense. Unfortunately, we have plenty of that. Okay. If you look at, and again, defense. Defense is the verb, but like what in defense? So it's building hardware, okay, and it's building secured communications. It's building electronic components and material and chemicals and physics and biology and manufacturing, okay, and robotics. Like this is where it's going, right? So I think, prophecies for fool, etc. But I think, like a year from now, hopefully, like this is behind us, and you're going to see a surge, okay, of kind of because of the war, of technologies that are, either defense or dual use. But the dual use purpose is going to be still deep tech, okay? If I can't manufacture for a defense facility, or if I want to manufacture either for a defense facility, okay, like for defense parts, or I want to manufacture for Airbus or Boeing, it's the same parts, okay? But it's still very hard to build a manufacturing business, okay, or manufacturing tech company, or a robotics tech company. So I think that the war is going to be one of the major instigators, okay, for the proliferation that we're going to see here in the next decade.
So other than so the good news is defense tech is going to lead deep tech. And of course, cybersecurity people are jumping on the bandwagon because I think we should.
Because it's great.
Because it's great.
Because we need to.
We're
world leaders in something, and we'd better keep that.
Correct. Right. Totally. But what about something else? Like, how else can we expand into things if we wanted to get into space technology, which is obviously very closely connected to defense tech of the sort? How do we do that?
Yeah, so I think by creating ecosystems, hubs of excellence, right? Like, or basically, listen, at the end of the day, also space, okay? If you're gonna be building, let me say something about, the major revenue of a deep tech company is gonna come in like 7 to 8 something years, okay?
Where's the patience for that?
Yeah, definitely. You gotta have patience for that.
Aren't people worried that like the whole industry ecosystem and tech can change? You find yourself 5 years in, $500 million in investment.
So that's a good point. So I'm urging at least the companies that are working with us at Ignite to have a prototype that can be commercialized with a portion of the value.
Well, what SpaceX has.
Yes.
Right.
So
do you want to give the example I'm talking about?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, fine. So I mean, obviously, the goal is to send rockets and go to Mars.
Yes.
And so first it's satellites, but then it's satellites. And what are they doing? They're providing internet connection through satellites, which is better than any other connection. Starlink. Thank you. Yes. And so that revenue is helping go to Mars. And with Tesla, the goal is electric cars, but in order to dominate, or move to electricity in general. So you need to find a way to make money off of solar, and now you can put solar in your house. They got Tesla house batteries, and then they'll lead to humanoids, and of course, a whole revolution.
But not think about that. The goal is to be autonomous, right? In car driving. But before you become autonomous, you could do the first step, which is become electric, right? Just solely electric power,
right?
And not only that, I mean, like you could sell and commercialize software that you're building
already. That makes it more safe, like Mobileye and things.
Exactly. So
I
I think when you're deciding that you're gonna take the scenic route, let's call it, and build a deep tech company, you should think about
the scenic route. That's good. I like that. That's good. That's good positioning. Now I'm interested.
You should definitely think about how you're gonna commercialize a portion of the value proposition earlier rather than later. So start generating revenues, be it, I mean, and now, I mean, like, I think another disruption that's happening with AI, okay, is that you can commercialize things faster, okay, in different business models that you couldn't do like earlier.
But can it also make your technology become much more extinct sooner and faster? You become irrelevant.
So I think that's the beautiful thing. I mean, like if you're building a real deep tech venture, if you're building a battery, if you're building a rocket, if you're building a spaceship, if you're building a robotic arm for a manufacturing facility, it's very hard to take away your expertise, okay? Your deep technological moat. It's very hard to do that. What you can do, okay, is layer on AI, okay, to be the last mile of what makes you unique.
Right.
Okay, so have your patent or have your, you know, kind of hardware piece, I would say, crafted in a certain way, but then kind of for the last mile of innovation, you layer on the software piece. Okay, you get the hardware piece that's unique and different, and you get the software piece to go on top of it. This creates formidable moats around companies.
Okay, so let's put defense tech aside. Where do you think we're seeing the best opportunity for deep tech in Israel?
Yeah, so I think we kind of covered that. You know, like I think robotics is going to be huge, and we're seeing interest in both of our earlier programs, both in the deep tech leaders, the ideation stage founders, people that are just interested, saying that they're interested in seeing robotics and building robotics. And on top of it, I can think of 3 pre-seed companies that sit in the Ignite's pre-seed community program right now that are building a robotic arm or robotic mechanism facility, like without disclosing too much. So I think robotics is coming up. I think quantum is definitely something that Israel can and needs to be really good at.
Well, we need to be good at everything.
Yes,
but will we be?
But let's focus. You know, I'm thinking about Classic. It's a portfolio. It's an Ignite portfolio company that raised $110 million Series C, just announced this week. I look at quantum machines. Okay, so I think these companies are global leaders. Okay, of quantum technologies, global leaders out of Israel. And I think compute, okay, like quantum involves both a hardware and a software stack. That's a place that we could really excel in.
So it's the hardware plus software. Do we need the manufacturing to be here?
I think we need the manufacturing sense to be here, and I think we need the manufacturing tech to be here. The scale, okay, is a question of whether that becomes more of the private equity side, okay, like kind of later stages of like where is it efficient to be scaling your manufacturing facilities. But I think this is a hotbed for manufacturing tech innovation, and I think that for early stage, as you know, as it goes for early stage manufacturing tech, I think this is another place that Israel definitely should be leading.
So we should be. Are we there? Are we? I mean, when I think about Israel, I do not think about manufacturing.
Yes, I know you don't.
Is that just me?
Go look at.
Wait. Am I wrong?
No, you're definitely not wrong. Go look at the tech transfer offices, okay, in the universities, on the research that people have made, okay, that's accrued there over the years, and you'll find many applications for manufacturing. Okay, there's a patent sitting on if somebody is interested at one of the universities in the tech transfer office of a digital nose.
With a digital nose?
Nose, olfactory.
Oh, okay. Oh, nose with a K.
Nose.
I think in this thing.
Yeah, nose.
Oh, nose. Yeah, because Jews are great at that.
Yes, Jews are great at noses. Yes. So, but if you think about that, it's olfactory technology that would and could mainly be applied into manufacturing lines. Okay, to sense, smell, like if something is, if there is leakage of any specific gas, if something is, in the manufacturing process is broken, okay, or like basically if the machine is breaking down, if some of the chemicals are leaking, okay, so there could be many applications, okay, for an olfactory technology like that, okay, to be applied into the manufacturing world. So I think it's really bottled knowledge, and like we're doing whatever we can to get closer to it.
So where do you think cyber, defense tech, robotics, where do you think Israel will be leading in other verticals in the industry when it comes to technology and deep tech in particular?
So we didn't say AI too much.
That
isn't a true. So I mean, like AI is definitely playing a main. It's taking front and center. But maybe as another anecdote, okay? I don't remember when that panel was, but Sam Altman sat on stage and said, I'm hoping there are entrepreneurs here building nuclear fusion because I need energy
Right.
to power my data centers, okay, and handle the compute workload. That's another area, okay, that I think that's going to be evolving very much.
It already is. I mean, it's not even. It's also very private because now they're setting up nuclear on site for data centers.
Yes.
It's not even. It's decentralized. Every energy is decentralizing. People are bringing, like we said earlier, right? Tesla electric battery packs into the home.
Yeah. By the way,
Right?
you want
cars don't need to go to the gas station at home. And I think also data centers are going to get it locally.
Correct.
Water will get more locally from desalinization.
You wanna talk playing to our advantages. There's and also like going periphery. Like think about like starting up data centers in the Negev.
Totally.
Okay. I mean like where we have ample room. Okay, and like nobody's like really utilizing that. So I think the potential is definitely there. And what I think is happening from a macro perspective is everything is cyclical, right? So we're going back to a decade of like this is where focus is going to be, right? I think you could definitely see, or you're definitely going to be seeing a lot of investments just going there because of the macro and geopolitical environment that we're in.
Interesting, amazing. So what do you think is if someone, let's say, isn't an entrepreneur, him or herself, and wants to support and get into deep tech, like, hey, I really want to push this forward. I know it's important. It can make a great career. It'll be meaningful. I'll be exposed to great people, great technology. How does one get into deep tech specifically?
Yeah. Go to meetups.
All right.
Go to events. I mean, just attend. Just attend. Just be a part of the community and population that and have it in be in that orbit. I don't think there a month does not go by where we have like a deep tech, some other angle of it, like focused event in our offices at Ignite.
When are you having an event?
So I think we have one coming up in the next month.
You think? All right.
Yeah, come on. I don't remember the details.
Okay, it's not like you work there or anything.
It's not like
or run the show.
Yes, exactly. I'm responsible for vision. So thanks for putting me on the spot. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no shit. That's why we're live.
So I think the point just try to get yourself, if you really want to go there, okay, and that's a goal for you to connect with, okay, just go there, connect with that. Just start attending. I think when you get to that place, the entrepreneurs just generally, and I'm considering you to be an entrepreneur, even if you say, I have an idea, but it's not fully baked yet, and I don't have a CTO, and I don't care. You consider yourself an entrepreneur, get out there and talk to others who are interested in your domains.
So
the friction will help you move forward.
The friction. So let's talk about it. I mean, what do they say? Ideas are like assholes. Everyone has one.
and execution is the...
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So execution. You have an idea. You think it's terrific. You may not be well networked. What do you do? Other than go to meetups.
Yeah.
And your event next month.
Yeah. I think learn. I mean, like learn how to talk the talk. Okay? And where do you do that? It's not just the events themselves, programming. There are wonderful programs out there, okay, like earlier than us as well. Although we do early, okay, you could go earlier than that. Just start brush up on your lingo and brush up on the way that the industry is talking in order to embed yourself in it.
Interesting, great. So you go to the programs and then you would say, learn about the lingo, network with other individuals at meetups, etc.
And I think if you did that, that's half the job right there.
And the other half?
And the other half is, have the right skill set, right? I mean, like be willing to put in the work to hone your skills, okay? Because you need to be a great storyteller, because you need to have some sort of a commercial sense, some sorts, not a lot. But when you start your kind of entrepreneurial way. Because at the end of the day, what does an entrepreneur do all day? We sell. We sell to the audience right here. We sell to investors. We sell to customers. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, I mean, I think having some sort of salesmanship skills is a must-have.
So we'll end in a few minutes. Let's just talk about Ignite Deep Tech specifically, what your organization does, right? So first, what is your mission?
Yeah. So basically, co-creating deep tech with fostering innovation from startups and co-creating deep tech future alongside with the corporates themselves.
So you help start. So basically, there's a startup that's already a startup, not just an idea, right? The other half.
Yes.
And you're ready and want to execute. You're going to be able to help them.
Yes. We're going to be, so there are two things that we do really well. I think we can find, we've been fortunate to find the most phenomenal startups that exist here in the Israeli ecosystem. We're hopefully thinking that's because we bring them value with the program that they're going through. And the second thing that we know how to do really well is help you kind of get around the antibodies that are inside of any large corporate, okay? Kind of dismantle it, or dismantle the kind of the challenges and the hurdles, right, that exist in every corporate, and help you get into a place where you're corporate ready, okay? Corporate aware, okay? To put
What's
you
corporate aware mean?
Corporate aware is meaning like in a corporate environment, you need to understand that a corporate is not one entity, it's multiple stakeholders. You have to understand the dynamic that goes along between multiple stakeholders. You have to know how to navigate your way. Who's the champion, okay? Who's the official buyer, okay? But who's the influencer for that buyer, okay? Who, maybe it's a different person altogether that you need to convince in order to make the deal happen. So there's an art and a science, okay, to learning how to crack that corporate. And articulating the value that is for the corporate and the startup's feature offer. Because at the end of the day, a startup should be selling, at least at the early stages, one feature that they do really, really, really well.
And that it gets them in the door.
And
from
it
there,
gets
you
them
land and
in the door.
expand, and it gives you the
Exactly.
revenue for the growth.
Exactly.
And more
Exactly.
research. Amazing. So if people want to stay up to date with Ignite Deep Tech, they want to follow what's going on in the deep tech ecosystem here in Israel and know what's going on, maybe attend your event next month. Where should they go to learn more?
Yeah, so definitely we're in all of the social channels. Follow us on LinkedIn, find us on Twitter, and we're very much happy to engage. We're very open. If you're an entrepreneur, I don't care which stage you are, but if you define yourself as an entrepreneur, okay, you still don't have an idea, you still don't know what you're building, you still don't have your CTO or your technical founder, we want to hear from you. Get closer to the ecosystem, start learning, and we will do the rest.
Awesome. And I just want to give mad props. This is like, we're hoping to make this a series. So I know you got like builders and like entrepreneur like blood. Like I feel it because you like to take chances and you're like, yada. So just so people know this came to be, I said, let's do a live podcast. And I suggested in your offices and you're like, let's just do it in Sarona. And I'm like, that's just genius, right?
Yeah.
I thought you might have been too embarrassed to have me around your office. But I think it turned out okay.
I don't want you guys in my office.
Exactly. I think last time we drank all your coffee.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I think it's wonderful, and it's great to see the crowd kind of congregating around it. And aside from that, I think it's different. As an entrepreneur, I believe in differentiation, and I believe in not walking the beaten path, and I believe in doing things in a way that can make a bang. So I think this is it, and I'm glad that you picked up on it and double down.
Amazing. I strongly recommend checking out Ignite Deep Tech. They are definitely on the forefront when it comes to innovation, trying something new, pushing boundaries, literally in technology, and I think just kind of like going out and reaching the rest of the tech ecosystem. For those that aren't already, make sure you're liking, following, or subscribing, and share this. And we're definitely going to upload this on Apple and Spotify. Give us 5 stars if you're hearing it there or wherever, and share so we can continue to democratize the Israeli tech ecosystem. Alon Leibovich from Ignite Deep Tech. Thanks for being the very first in this series.
Joel. Happy to be here.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, you can end broadcast. How do you think it went?
I think it was great.